Hi, I'm Austin.
I'm Josh.
I'm Justin.
Oh, and I'm Luke.
Special guest time!
Yeah!
Now, since it is your movie...
Oh, yeah. Hey, have you guys seen Dracula 2000?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Oh my god!
This is gonna be a good one.
You're
That's
either
how I
gonna
do
hate it or fucking love it.
Probably gonna hate
I'm
it.
gonna guess that he's gonna hate it.
I can't wait.
So, Josh,
But I'm gonna fucking love it.
you
if
know
it's
the
it.
drill. Describe to us what happens in Dracula 2000.
Yeah. It's Dracula
It'd
2000.
be nice to know when it was made, but not knowing that.
Oh wait, no! Hang on. I'm gonna give you one guess. Take a wild fucking guess when Dracula 2000
It
was
might
made.
not be made in 2000. Maybe it was made in the 80s, and
Like,
it's like a future flick.
Like Death Race
Like
2000.
Death Race 2000.
Yeah, that was a 70s movie.
Okay, that's fair.
What I was going to say is that it was,
Picture retro Dracula 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're the Dracula 2000 made in 1942.
2000 is a future year in this movie. He's some sort of techno vampire, right?
So this is like that Lifeliners or whatever. What was that future vampire movie? I didn't see that.
Well, are you talking about the one where they were like
Sam Neill was
they
in
were
it.
harvesting humans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like cow factories.
I don't even know what this
humans.
is.
Okay. Oh, probably worse vampire movie.
Maybe everyone-
on par.
yeah.
Future episode.
Yeah, it's probably about the same as these. I don't know how much new
So,
metal it has in it.
Are we focusing on Dracula or the
Or the
people trying to
2000s?
Stop Dracula. Oh, or the 2000. Welcome to the year 2000.
It's about Dracula.
I'm Dracula and I run everything.
It's about,
Don't worry.
it's about Dracula trying to keep up with the time.
It's about Dracula and his friend 2000, a robot designed to take human blood.
Blah. It's 3 a.m. and I'm on Twitter as Dracula.
Hello, I am 2000, your friendly blood-taking robot.
Don't worry about the werewolf. He tells me he's a very good guy. I trust him. Also, creature from Black Lagoon. We just call it creatures from Black Lagoon live matter. I say it right now on Twitter as Dracula for 2000.
I mean, it's gonna be some kind of horror film, right? Whether that's because it's just a bad movie or if it's intended to be a horror film, it's yet to be seen. But I imagine we'll focus on the people, right? Where everyone's jacked into the internet in this 2000s future.
So vampirism is like a cyber.
Yeah, he can like
I would fucking love
Whoa,
that movie.
that's why you have 2 bite marks on your neck?
right.
That's where you
yeah,
jack
that's
in?
where you jack in. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like the fucking Matrix.
I know Transylvanian now.
Oh, wonderful.
Alright, so we're gonna get to it. We're gonna watch Dracula 2000.
Thank God.
And, well, if we're here afterwards, we'll talk about it. We may be the unpodcasters of the night. I'm Gerard Butler, and I'm in a casket. So, is Scrooge McDuck a vampire? That's the big question of this
Well,
episode.
I think based on what we know from this movie specifically, yes.
Well, there
Oh.
is that show. What was it? Count Quackula or something. There was like a animated show about a vampire.
Was
duck.
that...
I think it was like a movie from like Donald Duck or whatever.
Okay.
It was like one of
I
those
was
like
picturing-
Halloween episodes of like, you know.
I was picturing a show within the world of... I can't remember. The DuckTales. I'm like picturing one that they watched. I thought you were referencing something like that.
No, I'm saying that there was like its own little offshoot thing.
Not
Was
Dark...
it, I don't think it was a full show. I thought it was just like an episode. Anyway,
I wonder if it was a Darkwing Duck villain that spawned its own thing, because that seems like a Darkwing Duck.
Count Duckula was a British animated series.
Duckula.
what?
So that's not even associated with Disney.
Holy shit!
That's just Duck Dracula.
Uh-huh.
Man,
Okay.
what is it with people's like obsession with ducks? Like there's like Howard the Duck and like DuckTales and apparently Count Duckula,
Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing
Daffy
Duck.
Duck from Looney Tunes.
Daffy
You've
Duck.
always got a duck.
They're just funny animals.
They got a good accent. They're always really temperamental.
Hang on, let me ask you a real question here. How many ducks do you know with an accent?
He's talking about like the.
No, I know what he's saying. But the way he posed the premise.
Almost all of them. Scrooge
all.
McDuck is Scottish.
Sure.
Yeah.
Good point.
What about Donald?
Donald...
He just has a really bad lisp.
Well, I imagine it's hard to talk with a bill.
Yeah.
So that's
all the other ones seem to be fine.
That's a duck accent. But
this is
Daffy
a weird way to get back into, hey, we just watched Dracula 2000.
Quick question, though. If Scrooge McDuck is Duckula, does that mean there was a Jesus duck that he betrayed?
Again, I'm going to say, based off the premise of this movie, yes.
That's how he got his fortune started?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Dracula 2000 was made in the glorious year of 2000.
Yep.
Holy fuck.
It came out that year. This is a 90s movie through and through.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at the height of new metal.
Every scene. Even when it's supposed to be romantic, dramatic, suspenseful, new metal.
To be fair, there were a couple moments where it was just like this weird, like strange operatic, like trancey almost.
You mean
music.
the violin setting on your keyboard?
Yeah, essentially. It's like they ran new metal through like a violin like quartet.
Oh, they predicted Evanescence and all that kind of metal.
Yeah.
Guys, there's a movie called Dracula 3000.
Shut up.
Is there really?
Is it a Dracula race across the country?
No.
What year did that come out?
2003.
Okay, because I was going to say, was it 3000? Is it the future?
Is that a future Dracula movie?
Oh my god.
So I was
Count
confused.
Dracula terrorizes the crew of a spaceship. That's the
Whoa! I'm watching it
Fucking of
now.
course he does. Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm way into this and I want to see it now.
We, doing research for the show, have found so many, not only vampire
it's got
movies,
Coolio in it.
but Dracula movies we want to see.
Dracula specifically.
It has Coolio
It's got Coolio
in a spaceship.
Uh-huh.
All right, I'll watch it.
Worth watching for sure.
That's 3 checks off my movie box watch list.
Does it have Coolio?
Are there vampires or monsters? And is it in space? Josh, what do you think?
It was bad.
Want to give us the quick rundown of what's going on?
Yeah, tell me everything about this movie.
So a bunch of thieves who we know nothing about break into a vault that we know nothing about and steal
didn't
from
even
someone
know about
who we know
They
nothing about.
don't even know about
They
it.
don't
You're
know
right.
what's in there. They're
Using
just like,
tools.
This guy's got to have
Yeah.
something good.
Using tools that we still don't understand.
So, okay, keep going.
And they steal a coffin with something in it. They get on a plane and all die because they let Dracula out, who's in the coffin, by the way.
30 minutes to get to that.
Yeah, it took,
30
took
minutes.
half an hour of an hour and a half movie
Yeah.
to get to Dracula.
There was a lot of dramatic keystroking when they were breaking into the vault and stuff. Like, I hadn't seen that, like, such dramatic keystrokes since, like, Hackers.
Yeah, it was very like, I'm in, you know?
I'm in the network.
Hacking the mainframe. So, plane crashes. Right into the swamp.
And
One of those guys was Hyde from that 70s show. One of the...
Danny Masterson.
Yeah.
Which is, like, both hilarious and, like, wildly confusing.
He's
He
really
didn't
trying
really
to be
do
Neo
anything.
from The Matrix in
He
this.
didn't really do anything.
Well, he did die.
Yes.
Which was
twice.
Twice. He did die twice. That's true.
So,
Plane crashes.
quickly to run down the plot. Plane crashes. Some bodies are now vampires.
They called it the Swamp of Death.
Oh, they are
Right?
dramatizing this.
They move all of the bodies to like the town center or town hall or something like that because they don't have a fucking morgue in this town.
They can't
This
handle a
cast
plane
was-
crash of 4 bodies, all of which have become Dracula's minions. Dracula
Draculettes, if you will.
is now in New Orleans during Mardi Gras looking for his child bride?
It's like
Daughter bride?
it's like the
Someone who has vampirism that he didn't turn himself.
And
Yeah.
now that we've seen this
born
recently,
not bitten. He
Yes,
says later in the
born
movie.
not bitten.
these are secrets that you don't get led on to for a long time. You're just exposed to characters, and it's like, hey, here's the girl and her roommate.
So, like,
Who are they?
is it canonical that Dracula shoots blanks? Like, he can't...
Oh,
impregnate
like he can't. I don't know. I mean, like, listen, I've seen Van Helsing, and I would say yes. That like.
Well, no, he
can't-
wasn't shooting blanks.
Oh,
they were just born
They were just
dead.
stillborn. They were all like.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He lays big, they like eggs. Like weird, like green embryos.
That in itself begs a whole bunch of questions. Like, he impregnates them, but the babies always die. What?
Or they're like, anyway, whatever.
Because
That's not a different movie.
Because God's
Different movie, it's not important.
God's mad at him, and he's just sending down blanks. Like, he's not letting any souls into these babies.
Yeah.
And that's why they're just dying right off the
Look,
bat.
because the thing is that we do know from this movie that Dracula can indeed have sex.
Yes, Dracula always fucks.
Dracula
He can fuck.
always fucks.
Dracula
Well, I mean,
always fucks.
Dracula fucks for sure, but like, what? Like, so he can have sex, but like, he can't procreate because you can't like have a vampire that's born not bitten, which we learned. But then Van Helsing, who comes in, we learned this at the very, very beginning of the movie. Van Helsing has been doping himself with vampire blood.
He's a junkie.
He's getting high on Dracula.
And he's kept himself alive for like hundreds of years.
Yeah, that was one of the two twists in this movie, was that he was the original Van Helsing.
Yeah,
I thought
not
he
a
was
descendant.
just like a descendant.
Yeah, Matthew Van Helsing was actually Abraham Van Helsing, the
Dun, dun.
original. So like Van Helsing's
Even the stings are new metal in this
Yeah,
movie.
seriously, Van Helsing's daughter is like new Dracula.
She's like
Fresh
21.
Dracula.
He's 80-100.
He's like 185 or some shit like that.
How many kids does Van Helsing have?
More
That's
than
the real
Dracula.
question.
Yeah,
Just scattered. I don't know why this wasn't a movie where they assemble the Helsing crew and it's just his bastards discarded
The
from
Helsing
all over the
family
world.
values, you know.
So we start off with Matthew Van Helsing and his assistant Simon Not Belmont.
Not Belmont, which is really unfortunate.
That's a waste.
I feel like they missed. Like, it could have been one of the funniest niche jokes that had ever happened.
For sure.
And like the thing was, is like I think Castlevania was like a game at that point.
Oh,
for sure, right? So it's like,
thousands, absolutely.
yeah, absolutely, right.
They were 3D at that point.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. But I mean, like the market they could have just like marketed to just be like, and starring Simon Belmont. Fucking just like, no way.
I wonder if he's owned by Capcom and not canonical with Dracula, so they could only push it as far as Simon.
Yeah, maybe that's
Schmelmont.
Simon Schmelmont.
Yeah. He works Okay, so you work for an old dude who's named Van Helsing. You collect Victorian-era weaponry for him, and you haven't put the pieces together.
Also,
not only that, you're surprised.
Also, they have a conversation about Bram Stoker's Dracula. Like, at the very beginning of the movie, right? They talk about Bram Stoker's Dracula, like, and they're just like, oh, and this is Matthew Van Helsing, like, and it's, I just collect antiques for him, you know, for fun, I guess, you know?
I love how they
This working crossbow that shoots silver bolts, I'll keep it for my collection. And Simon's like,
Oh,
sir,
you're gonna keep
another one?
Which begs the question of, like, what the hell else did he keep? Right? Where it was just like, oh, this is a cross.
That was the only one they used.
The big old curvy knife.
Well, the big old curvy knife was part of that, like, that gun.
There was a separate one, because
fucking
his
gun.
cupboard switched around at one point, and we see his armory.
Oh, that's true. He's got pistols that shoot
he still
bolts.
only ever takes the one thing.
No, there's several of you. They're
He
not
takes like a briefcase full of garbage.
on a plane
Yeah.
to America.
Which is how you can tell this is a different time, right?
The
It's
year
just like
2000.
it goes through like what was originally security at airports.
Sir,
It's
is
just
this
like,
a bag full of knives?
and guns?
Yes, but
yes, it is.
Don't you see how I'm dressed?
It's just like, he seems fine.
Just 17-piece suits and gold chains. Like, this guy has, like, cummerbunds and all these things I don't even know the names of.
Just for the listening audience, Austin just said he's got cummerbunds and then strapped above his nipples.
Isn't that how you put it on and then you wiggle it down?
You just, like, wiggle it.
You can tell I've been to a ton of fancy events.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, you wear 3-piece suits all the time.
All the time.
Sure. I think we're never going to be able to explain the plot of this.
That's okay.
What was the plot of this?
There's enough nutty stuff in
Thieves
this.
steal a Dracula, and then escapes.
Okay.
And they kill Dracula.
Yeah, because everyone working for Van Helsing is in on a scam. They're like, well, we don't know anything about the name Van Helsing. We haven't Googled it. He must have a ton of money because he built this vault.
Yeah, he's got a very big
She worked for him.
thing.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
She's like, this security system is intense.
Selena, I think her name is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, I know some shady friends who can come in here with amazing
They weren't just shady
sci-fi
friends.
tools.
They weren't just shady friends.
No.
These were like
techno
high-end
thieves.
techno thieves with the most delightful names. There's like Eddie
Nightshade.
and Dax and Nightshade and fucking what was the other guy? Who cares? Marcus.
Yeah.
It just all of them have like the most wild.
This is a movie I want to see. This cyberpunk thief crew who doesn't care what they're stealing. They just know it's big.
So that's one of the things that I've always thought about this movie is that like there were about 4 different ideas going into like the working title of Dracula 2000, and what they wound up with was just like an amalgamation of parts of all of them.
Yeah. It's probably several
This was
different
directed by
writers.
one guy, but it might have been written by a bunch. It had like the markings of like
Multiple
like,
writers.
a lot of writers.
Honestly, I would say multiple directors too, because like the first third of the movie with the whole like hacking and the
It's so
vault
dramatic.
break, it's this weird dramatic thing with all these like fancy like technological, technological for the time, right? This fancy technology. The Marcus fucking like when he busts into the.
This was written by 2 people,
Oh God, Jesus.
and one of them was the director.
Oh my God. But like Marcus, when he busts into this, like, to bust into the vault, he throws this, like, glass ball at one of the guards' faces and he just dies.
He passes out.
Yeah. It's like knockout gas in a ball, and it's like,
It's
what?
knockout dust.
That would be terrible to have a glass ornament of knockout dust thrown in your... You'd inhale some of that glass.
Oh, and you would, like, it cuts on your face. But then the thing is like, that whole first sequence, right? It's got, like, this ball of knockout gas. He's got recorded voices of one of the guards so they can get into the vault. They have a glass eyeball.
Yeah, for the retina scan.
For the retinal
And
scan.
then they have like a hand thing to match his
fingerprints.
fingerprints.
Like an overlay
How
for
the
their
fuck
hands.
did they get that?
Who knows? But the thing is
Where did they get the model for his eye?
She worked for him.
That's
Okay.
true. But also,
Do you think you can make a model of your boss's eye?
right? But also the other thing is that like he peeled it off like it was fucking glue. Like he was an elementary schooler who had like smeared glue on his hand and just like
he had
peeled it off.
a latex like fake handprint.
Oh my God. Well, and the thing is, yeah, like, so this first third of the movie is this, like, completely different movie from where we move to immediately, which is, like, small town outside of New Orleans, but is technically just New Orleans.
Yeah,
Right.
It's like suburbs,
Right, yeah, where
like Dallas, Fort Worth.
They
all
have a
that shit.
huge mansion.
girl and her roommates are...
Lucy and Mary.
Lucy and Mary, right, I'm sorry.
From the original Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Which is true. Lucy is from the original. I don't think Mary is.
If they didn't want to,
There
if
were
they
2.
There was Mina.
if they
Mina's
didn't
from
want
the
to
original.
name him Simon Belmont, they should have had the character Simon use a whip.
Yeah.
That would have been tight. But like, you know, they move from this like cyberpunk like.
Ooh, really good transition, by the way, from this glass eye being scanned to the door of the vault.
Yeah, that's true. You know, I will say
Iris
there
opening,
were
the vault opening.
there were a few like really interesting and really cool transitions in this movie, but like
Some bad ones.
a lot of the editing in this movie is garbage.
I
Right?
gotta say, they
Pretty
took
janky and
chances.
Yeah.
But that time when she turns into a 3D curtain and melts,
Oh yeah.
that was bad. That was
not good.
That was
Yeah.
some lawnmower man type shit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when Lucy walks through the like image of Dracula and just like, well, she's like walking normally until she
then
hits
she, like-
Dracula, and then she like flings her arms out as if she's walking through a mist curtain.
Well, I mean, she kind of is.
I mean, she kind of
That's
is,
what
but
he
it's like-
remembers it. It's not only a dream or a vision.
That's
Yeah, 'cause
true.
he
He
was
saw
there.
it as
Bad.
well.
Yeah, that's what happens.
I don't
when-
understand Dracula's powers.
That's what happens when you walk
I don't
through
understand
Dracula.
what Dracula's powers.
Well, there
are.
doesn't seem to be
He has all
any
of
sort
them.
of continuity in his like in what he is and isn't able to do, right? Because like there's times when it's just like he can fucking teleport in a cloud of mist honest.
With other people?
With other people. And also there's times when he's just like, oh, I'm trapped. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, okay.
Okay, so something I want to bring up. This Dracula coffin that they break down, they're like, most people have a vault, man, and this is some 90s snappy dialogue.
Yeah, it's very like...
Most people have a vault, man, but what if you had a coffin? No one would ever look in it. This is where we gotta look. This is what we gotta take. Blah, blah, blah. But...
that logic doesn't work, because this is... you already broke into the vault!
That logic doesn't work because what?
They already...
No, I know, but it's just like the logic itself.
Even in his own head. Like,
yeah.
With, like, his backward logic of
So
that, you already broke into the
Here's
vault.
something even worse, though. Van Helsing built this vault for Dracula's coffin. We find out he's been putting leeches on him, because Dracula can't die. He can just suck his blood for centuries. He says he filters it through leeches.
Which
That's
is
some
the what
Victorian-ass science right there.
It's also the most, like, gratuitous, like, case of... just go with it.
So,
you know what I mean? Like,
what I want to say is he built this place, right? He set up this place. So why would he build the traps that spring when you're trying to take the coffin? Total bloodletting traps.
Here's my thing. I don't think he designed those traps.
What?
I think that this was Dracula's place. And that he built, like, his house or whatever on top of wherever Dracula...
We know that's not true because
he
caught Dracula.
Yeah,
we see him catch Dracula.
We did see him catch Dracula.
He built this place.
He built this place.
Okay.
I think
don't know then.
I think that, like, I think the traps were all meant to, like, hold Dracula in case, like, the coffin opens on accident for whatever reason.
Use weighted nets.
Yeah, I know. There's so many
bludgeoning devices.
Well, no, we've learned that Dracula can just teleport away in through the mist if he has to. Which begs the question: why the fuck did they have a helmet on Dracula?
So he can't bite you right away.
So yes, but the thing is when Hyde, I'm just gonna call him Hyde.
Not Nightshade.
They're honestly the thing is they're both. Equally accurate. But when Nightshade Hyde opens the coffin, Dracula fucking pops him in the head with a headbutt.
He would have bit him. Then you get that one shot.
No, I know, but the thing is but the helmet just immediately flips open and he bites him anyway.
Right.
It's not like it's causing any sort of protection.
No.
Why the hell is there a Victorian helmet on this dude?
Yeah. You gotta be quicker than that fighting Dracula.
I guess.
Some Dark Souls shit.
Speaking of which, all the people who were fighting Dracula in this movie, really bad at fighting Dracula.
Well, I just bad at fighting.
Like Van Helsing.
So they turn into vampires.
He's been doing this for how long? Why are you so bad at this?
200 goddamn years. 280
Why are you so
years.
bad at it? Well, I guess he's been sitting on him for the past 150
just
years.
Getting high off his balls.
Like shooting up on blood heroin.
Looking at the ceiling
shooting
and being like,
fucking Dracula.
Oh, those angels are beautiful.
I mean, that sounds like a very specific strain of heroin that you would get in like
Dracula blood.
Well, like you would get in, Eastern Europe somewhere. You know what I mean? Where it's just like
Dracula.
Yeah,
blood.
hello, friend. Come, I will give you
red.
This is Dracula. Like, oh, fantastic. Says the heroin guy. I don't know.
My theory was that Dracula, since he couldn't die, was just stoned off his ass on opium, and that's what he's getting high on. He doesn't realize he could just go get some opium.
The other guy's name was Trick.
Oh.
Trick.
That's the movie I want.
Oh my
I
God.
want Dracula 1000.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with him. It's just the prequel of this cyberpunk crew.
I just want to know about this crew of like cyber thieves.
We can replace Danny Masterson with someone who's
not horribly problematic. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
did Nathan Fillion die? Or was he just in there?
No, he was just there.
He never came back for the final battle.
He never showed up again. He was just like, "Oh, your mom came to me before and also is dead now. Sorry." And there's like this weird sexual tension between Mary and Nathan Fillion's priest character.
Like, what was the joke you made? They were talking about. She's like, "Oh,
I boycotted your confirmation." They're talking about we were
friends before, and she's like, "Yeah, I boycotted your confirmation."
Yeah, which is like that doesn't seem like what a friend would do, but
no, that's just a term she used for boinking.
Just specifically for him.
Yeah,
I boycotted your
confirmation. Yeah, you can't get into the papal school or whatever now.
You are no longer part of the clergy because I fucked you.
Before we move on, good point though, Justin. If this had been Dracula's cavern and you built a house on top of it, he'd have a really tough time.
This is the funniest shit that you... No, I need you to reiterate exactly what you fucking said when you were talking about this, right? So we're watching the movie, and, like, we're wondering what the fuck's going on with this, like, crazy, like, murder cave that Van Helsing seems to have built. And Austin says, what did you say?
This is the best way to trap a Dracula, is you build a house around him, because then he can't invite himself in. He's stuck down there.
Right, he's stuck because he can't invite himself into the house.
Yeah.
You get a cave, you get a house, you got to trap Dracula.
You build houses all around.
You just build... It's just like a series of houses.
It's like an MC Escher.
You put him in a condominium.
Yeah. That's how we were going to
actually
beat the vampire in our D&D game.
Before we do move on, I am interested. Do you think that, like, if Dracula exists in the year 2000, as we, have seen...
He obviously does.
As he obviously does. And you invite him into apartment 1A of, like, an apartment building, is he allowed into the rest of the apartments?
So.
No.
Or is he just... Are you sure?
Now...
Because he was allowed into, like, the
So he's only allowed in the lobby?
I think...
Is he allowed in the lobby? Is a good question.
Okay, so if the doorman allows him in, he's allowed in any public space in the apartment.
Okay.
And he can even sneak into, like, the janitor's place. They're restricted areas. But he has to treat it like a landlord otherwise and give 30 days notice. I'm sorry, 2 days notice if he's going to enter your domicile, your apartment.
Holy shit, yeah.
Yeah, and then you have to invite him in because they're each separate living spaces.
That would be the most hilarious, like, weird...
Dracula landlord.
Yeah, like, weird, like, internet sitcom, like, my landlord is a Dracula.
Blah, I'm coming in to fix your sink. Can I come in?
Hello, I have come... Hello, Mary, you are 2 weeks late on your rent.
I take payment in other forms.
Yeah.
Blood.
Well, now we're getting into, like, weird porn territory.
So,
I'm
Gerard
glad that
Butler...
Gerard Butler didn't land the plane.
Gerard Butler is a Dracula in this movie.
It's pre-300 Gerard Butler.
Oh, it is.
It's so aggressively pre-300 Gerard Butler that I did not believe it was Gerard Butler until I looked at the credits.
It does not look like him.
I didn't recognize him until he made a couple of different faces right at the camera.
Yeah. Right? Like, whenever it started getting more close up and he was doing different facial expressions, I was like, oh yeah, that is him. But damn.
Holy crap. When she invites
he
him into
bulked
the
the fuck
house
up.
for coffee, and he's like, I don't drink coffee. And he pops that little smirk.
It's like there was supposed to be a pause for, like, canned laughter and a rim shot. You know what I mean?
That would be like one of the jokes in that sitcom we were just talking about.
It's just like, oh, Dracula, come on in. I'll have your rent in just a minute. Can I get you coffee? I don't drink coffee. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's fucking new metal. Oh my god. This movie is so full of new metal and, like, garbage.
It's brilliant.
That's
It
the word
wasn't
for
as
it.
edgy as I thought it was going to be. I was expecting about like 20% more edge.
It was still in the 90s when it was made.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, like, composition of, like, trying to be... It's like middle school edgy. Do you know what I mean? Right, it's like trying to...
is it ever?
It's like trying really hard to be edgy, but also trying to be okay with your mom.
When one of the female Draculates is stuck in the prison, and she's looking through the glass, and he's like, you can't see me. I can see your penis outlined.
Yes.
And you're getting hard for this Dracula.
He was. He was.
Well,
he was like smiling.
Because they got magic seducey powers.
It's true, they do, but also what? And then the fucking thing is, Dracula just appears in this secure government facility.
Another.
He can turn into mist. He can turn into bats. He can turn into wolves. Anything else I'm missing?
She's strong. He can heal.
Oh,
he can just
I was just thinking
into what he can turn into.
But yeah, let's go through it.
Sure. So
he's got varying levels of super strength.
He can sense his followers or anyone,
and he can just go to them.
He can teleport.
He
Not only can he teleport, but like he can astral project if he wants.
Yeah, he can astral
Like he doesn't
project.
have to go there. He can just be like, I'm kind of here.
He can like seduce women by reaching a hand out and just like giving that Gerard Butler shit-eating grin.
He can seduce women by walking into a Virgin Mobile.
That's true.
No, that was just because
I'm
there
sorry.
was no other men.
It was not Virgin. It was just Virgin, not Virgin Mobile. We are pre-Virgin Mobile.
That's true. It was Virgin Records.
This is the shop where Mary works.
This is the shop. This fucking huge outlet store for music and records and shit. But like the thing is like this entire Virgin Mobile shit. I keep saying it. This entire Virgin Records.
This Virgin Stationery.
It's
Virgin not a mobile store.
It's a Virgin store, is what it is. Because like he walks in and about 12 different women who are looking at records all turn and just stare at him like they've never seen another man, which is kind of understandable because there isn't a single man in this entire music store. And as somebody who has like played music and like actively shopped for music and like listened to nu metal for this, if we're being honest, like I can tell you right now, every time I've been in a music store, it's largely guys. And it's not because like women don't play music, it's because women avoid people who play music.
So it's not just models wall to wall.
Yeah, I know, it's wild, right? Every time I've been into a record store, there's like 2 girls and a bunch of fucking dudes who are like, oh man, have you heard this album? It's fucking good.
So I read an interesting stat today that said last year, 2018, more physical CDs and vinyl records were sold than iTunes.
Wow.
That's actually kind of unsurprising to me, which is weird.
People are wanting to go back to the physical media.
I think it's more that like people are like trying to find ways to support artists they like, and so they're like actively like buying.
I wonder if those
from them.
get reported though, like merch,
like
sales.
merch tables and stuff. I doubt it, honestly.
It could be a survey that would have you bought vinyl CDs or something online.
That
way it might work.
Yeah.
I know I bought more vinyls than anything online last year. Like music.
Oh yeah, I mean me too. I mean the thing is with Spotify, I fucking hardly ever buy online music anymore, you know? I'll buy vinyls and CDs and shit when like bands come through.
Is there a Spotify playlist for Dracula 2000?
Oh my god, I'm looking it up right now. Hang on. No. Keep talking. I'm gonna find it.
Just go for like a power run tonight, blasting that.
The thing is it's probably mostly gonna be Static X.
Yeah.
And Linkin Park, who sneaks in there at the end.
That's true. Like Linkin Park, like
They didn't show up until the credits.
they just came in at the end.
This was 2000.
Holy
so they
fuck!
were not
No,
big.
guys,
There is.
Dracula 2000 with 50 followers.
51.
No, well, yeah, 51 right now. Absolutely. There's like 6. Oh, you know what? It's just the fucking soundtrack.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
You can live your life like you're in this movie now.
Hang on, it's Disturbed and Slayer, System of a Down, Monster Magnet, Godhead, Linkin Park, Static X, Head PE.
Head PE.
I know. Endo, Flybanger, and Salvia. What the fuck?
All right, so know what I'm listening to tonight?
I know.
I play some Apex Legends.
I'm not like, this is my new workout playlist. Hell yeah.
Oh man.
That
and
also,
you can get the one from the one too. That'll be good for you.
Yeah.
Shut up. You can't talk that much about nu metal. We'll get tagged. We'll get flagged.
We'll get flagged for being completely irrelevant. Oh man, you know, and like the thing is like I don't have anything against nu metal, and I will say that I was an active fan of it when it was a thing. I'm not proud of that, but like I'm not gonna pretend it didn't happen.
Right.
R.I.P. to the lead singer from The Prodigy, though.
Yeah. And from Static X. That dude also died.
Wow.
I think it's like, you know, it's probably some sort of disease. If you play enough shitty music, you just like you're...
We're all doomed.
I know. I was going to say, like, I'm going to die tomorrow.
Does that count as the music you play at home? Because I...
Yeah. What about karaoke?
Ooh.
No. I feel no. If you
You've got negative years to live.
Here's the thing. If you sing... If you can manage to sing nu metal at karaoke, I think you might be adding on time to your life.
You actually transcend.
I was speaking, which this is a complete tangent, it has nothing to do with the movie, but I'm going to say it anyway. I went to a karaoke like bar with a couple of my friends, I think last year, and there was like no one really there. And so I signed up to do Dracula by fucking Rob Zombie because I thought it would be really funny. And then by the time they called my name to like go sing, like the whole fucking bar had filled up. So I had to go sing Dracula by Rob Zombie in front of a bunch of people. You know, pretty well received, hilariously enough.
Nice. That would have fit in well in this movie.
Yeah,
It would have. And honestly, I think I would have. You know, actually, I think I would have been more upset if Dracula was in. If the song Dracula was in Dracula 2000. I think I would be kind of upset.
It would have been
the one
okay
place
if he
that
had a
would've
driving scene.
Oh, that
Like
would
a
have
nice
been like
RoboCop scene.
Oh,
where you
that
can
would've
see
been
him,
cool,
and
though,
There's
if,
like
like,
neon lights
Dracula
going
doesn't
by.
know how to drive.
No, but I want to see that.
I
scene.
want it. I didn't say driving well.
He crashed that plane.
No,
He
I like
tried
that.
to land it, and it just crashed in the
True.
swamp.
I love the
This is much harder than flying as a bunch of bats.
I love the idea of him like putting his hand through the window of like some sports car and pulling out the driver, sucking his blood, and then suddenly being able to drive a car.
Like he gains knowledge.
Because
from
like I
what
feel
he
like that would
sucks.
fit in so well with this movie, and I want to see it so bad.
Oh yeah, the new metal is totally diegetic. It's playing from the radio, but as he sucks the blood, it like cranks up the level.
Yeah,
and
the
we
volume
hear it,
goes out, and then it's like, and then
he's
just like the
we see
background.
him, and it's just hair flying back.
Oh god, that hair he had.
It's so good. The hair is so bad, but so good. But it's also so very 2000.
They
You know
spent
what I
all
mean?
their money on transition, so they couldn't do like any good effects for like the teeth
Oh,
growing. Like,
Well, the thing is-
so many bad fang growing moments in
Well,
this. Like,
but-
oh,
The other thing about the fucking fangs was that like I know they illustrated that there was difference between the fangs of vampires like in the first scene. There's like a bunch of skulls in that like
Yeah,
tome,
and some of them
right?
are
And some of them are like
like
Nosferatu, and some
some
of them are like, but the thing is like the differences in fangs between every vampire person was so aggressively different.
sometimes it was like stop motion.
It was like stop motion, but the thing is like sometimes it was like these two big pikes on the side of their mouth, and sometimes it was like, oh, they just have big canine teeth. Sometimes it's like in the middle of their fucking
everybody got
face.
to design their own fangs.
Yeah.
I mean, that might have been it, but I was gonna say I think they had like a makeup and like effect person who like fucked up halfway through and like didn't order enough like fake fangs. We're like, I guess you gotta use these ones now. You know what I mean?
But they established that in the beginning when they broke into Van Helsing's vault.
Yeah.
These skulls they found had different fangs on
Yeah.
them.
That's
some
true.
had side fangs. Some was that the
Which-
cover up. They went and put that in later. to
I
be
mean,
like,
they must
look.
have.
There's all different types.
Because that's the thing is like it's almost like they were like, well, fuck, I don't know, like how do we? I guess it's like they added new things to vampire lore. They were like, yeah, when you get bit by a vampire, you become a unique kind of vampire. This one's teeth are growing out of the one side of their face. Who knows? You know?
This lady has them on her fingernails, and she can just
Yeah,
right into your neck.
she's got like upside down teeth. Yeah, like I don't know. It's
Ooh, bottom jaw fangs.
that would
That'd
be
pretty-
actually kind of interesting. But like, how would you bite the hair? You know.
An underbite, yeah, like a massive underbite.
Yeah.
There.
Well, yeah, you would have to like bite them on the trachea essentially to get the jugular.
If you could choose where your fangs were as a vampire, you'd have some teeth situation going on.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I feel like
You seen the
they're.
movie Teeth, Josh?
No.
You know what it's about?
No.
Oh my god, that
Imagine
movie.
teeth.
Yeah, where they don't belong.
Yeah, just it's. Oh god, that movie is
I
like.
loved it. It's so good.
It's one of those like B movies that is almost a good movie.
It's an indie movie that should be seen in theaters.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, that's true of like plenty of movies. We were talking about Repo the other day. And
Which one?
I was talking about the Genetic Opera, and then
Oh,
you
okay.
told me that there was like a more serious
There it
one,
is with Jude Law,
which
Yeah.
I still need to see.
And Lawrence Fishburne? Is that?
I think.
Which, oh god, it's
The
fucking
guy from
wild.
The Matrix.
No, it's not the guy from The Matrix.
We did this last night, or not last night, the other night.
We did this at the bar where we pre-plan these episodes.
I know.
Quote unquote.
Like,
No, okay, so it wasn't Lawrence Fishburne. It was,
Yes, the.
yeah, Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh,
That's-
that is a weird, trippy movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a red cocaine that they can take that make them love pain, so they get all these like genetic implants and like biohacks.
See,
Again, I think this is just Repo, like the
Oh, I know
original
the
Repo.
premise of Repo the Genetic Opera.
Is it just is it just the original that they were just like, let's make this into a real different movie.
I think it would have been more interesting if there were more people getting high on vampire blood in this kind. In this
That
movie.
would have been
like
cool.
if you're gonna make vampire blood like as a drug thing, why only have one person?
That's a
doing
missed
it?
plot line.
I wonder if this movie was like pitched as like a concept, right? Where it's just like, hey, I'm gonna pitch this like screenplay as a concept, and if you like any of it, I can write an actual movie on it. But then they were like, oh yeah, no, we like this, let's make it.
Uh-oh.
Whoops. Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like there's so many elements of Dracula 2000 that are like almost a good movie, right? Like the idea of Dracula like appearing in the modern world is conceptually a really good movie.
I would love it.
Bat out of water.
Yeah, fish out of water, but it's a bat out of water. Yeah,
A bat out of cave.
Yeah,
Bat out of cave.
Like, and then the idea of this like hacker group who like breaks into this rich person's house, and it turns out to be somebody like
Fucking Van Helsing.
Van Helsing. I mean, that's honestly like an interesting movie, but it's so quickly scrapped. The idea of
You've
Van
got to make
Helsing
it darker. You've got to.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But the idea of Van Helsing like doping on like vampire blood to stay alive is a really cool
Why not just
concept.
have him be really young still?
Yeah.
Why make him an old man at all?
Well, 'cause, I mean, to be fair, he was an old man in the original Bram Stoker thing.
yeah.
Well, I know, but like
not like older. I mean,
No,
like,
sure.
You know what I mean? Then they wouldn't have even need that other guy.
Benjamin or
Simon.
He could have just been because that's the whole reason he was in there. Is like, oh, we can't have the action star of this horror movie be an old man.
That's the thing about this movie. We're talking about it pretty cohesively. You don't get that in the movie. Like, we've seen it and talked about it.
We're not talking about it cohesively, but we are talking about it more cohesively than this fucking movie presents.
Because half the time you're like, who the fuck are these people and why should we care about them? And it doesn't come clear for a good hour.
like the news anchor. They were just there for no reason.
Let's talk about this scene in the swamp where you can't see Dracula through the camera.
See, the thing is I like that scene. Like, well, I mean, just because of the editing and how like. Again, I like it because of the concept.
They're the last one there in the death swamp.
Yeah, they're the last ones in the death swamp.
This newsreel
There
was
are
like
so
the
many
most
double
unrealistic
entendres.
thing.
Yeah.
Because they were showing like straight up dead bodies on the news. Like
just like
here's
tied
footage of them like massacred.
Like
You
gore.
don't put that on the news.
like
she's
actual gore.
Come on me later at 10 p.m.
And then,
She's just like being so overt
Yeah,
about it.
she's
turn me
standing
on
like-
at 10. You know?
She's
right.
standing like what? Like 25 feet from this fucking plane
From the
crash?
crash site.
Like,
Yeah.
what? And they're the only newscasters there too?
Yeah, there's no other news.
There's no big lights on it. The cops haven't
this
put
would be like
quarantine
this would be a
tape.
national thing. Fucking like CNN and Fox would be there.
Oh, but we did forget this was the town that couldn't house
That did-
five
that-
dead bodies.
Whose morgue was like incapable of housing
Then
5
answer
bodies.
me this. Why did they have 4 different news channels? Because we see 3 of them reporting on the plane before they're the last
That's
ones
true.
there.
So, like, the continuity in this show is fucking garbage, right? Like, there's plenty of scenes where, like, just based on the shots in the scenes, and it's all supposed to be one continuous shot, but, like, based on, like, where the camera is focusing, Gerard Butler's eyes are either red or blue,
Yeah.
right? And, like, it changes between the two, like, several times.
That's like a subtle thing, like to denote if he's good or bad. I think.
I don't think it
It's like
is.
a thing.
I think it might be a thing. Have you seen the movie The Thing?
I have not.
Okay, we won't spoil anything
Yeah,
for
no
you.
All right. Okay.
That's a classic John Carpenter.
See, I can't hear Thing and not think of like Thing from the Addams Family.
Oh no,
I
this is
can't.
much better.
This is nothing.
Oh, excuse you.
Kurt Russell's in
Much
it.
better than the Addams Family.
A better monster than
How
Thing from
dare
the
you?
Addams
Okay,
Family.
that's fair. Yeah.
Very different from the Addams Family.
I will have you know that I listen to a lot of new metal and I love the Addams Family.
And I will fight you over whether The Nightmare Before Christmas is a good movie or not. It's a terrible movie.
Fuck you, I like that movie. Just fucking like, all my clothes are from Hot Topic. Fuck you. I'm wearing Doc Martens right now as we speak. I'll kick you in the face.
Look at my Jack Skellington belt buckle.
Yes. I'm hilariously wearing a studded belt right now. And Doc Martens. I'm just a scene kid that never grew up. It's fine.
It's all good.
Ugh, it's so bad. I think is why I love this movie so much.
I would have loved if this was just a fish out of water story.
That would have been awesome. That's
Like
what I'm
Dracula and Encino Man would be great.
That's every Dracula movie when you think about it, because the one from the 90s with Keanu Reeves, he wakes up, or he comes to like London and Victoria Times, he's totally a fish out of water. He goes to the movies in that one, like the early movies. We wanted him to go to the movies in this one, and he didn't.
I wanted to see him see a 3D movie.
To be fair, he did get to watch a new metal like music video.
And he just said brilliant.
Brilliant.
And walked out.
Which
That
is
was
my
a bad
favorite
song.
shit is that it was so bad. It was so bad.
That dude's mustache,
like
it
the,
was so
the mustache
tiny.
was bad. The thing is like everything about that scene, like clearly that song and music video were shot for this movie.
Yes.
Right? Like because they clearly didn't like outsource that at all because like the music was horrible, the lyrics were awful, and the video was terrible. And like nobody who's in it, like, oh god, it's just all of it was just so bad. And Dracula is like a new metal fan apparently, and it's just like brilliant.
Yeah, that's one thing you never saw on MTV was like footage of titties blurred out. Like that wasn't something that was included in music videos really. They would just be censored to the point where there were no titties.
Yeah, like it would be like cropped or like cut in certain ways.
That was something that totally made me disbelieve in this video that was up there.
Yeah.
And the song, you're right, was so generic. It was just that metal song of like, "You're my baby, and I'm gonna rock."
Yeah. I mean, I think those were both lyrics in this song, which is like really upsetting and also really fitting. You know,
I wanted him to start a band. Monster
Wasn't
Squad.
Wasn't that like Queen of the Damned or something?
Yes.
Where they start like a vampire band?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's the Misfits. It's fine.
Or was that Interview with the I get them confused.
Interview with the Vampire's the better one that
That's
came
the one with Tom
before.
Cruise?
Is that the one with? No, I think that's the one with
Antonio Banderas,
Oh God, I'm not even thinking
Tom
of the right
Cruise,
one.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking of.
Queen of the Damned has Aisha as the
Yeah.
Queen of the Damned,
I
and
haven't-
no one else.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Do we do spoilers on this podcast?
Go for it, yeah.
Fantastic. Can we just real quick talk about the like ending reveal? The like twist ending that they tried to pull?
I'm Gerard Butler. I'm a Scottish Transylvanian Draculan who's also an Armenian Judas.
It's fucking Judas!
Judas.
Fucking Dracula is Judas from the Bible! Like, and the thing is like, there were very small times that they tried to, like, allude to this.
I did not know what was going on.
Oh my god, it was fucking ridiculous where they were just like, who are you? And he's like, well,
Who
God
did they
fucking forsake me. Like, oh god.
There
It's
were
just-
times when coins fell to the ground, and I was like, oh, that's not really, like,
Is that like a
Western...
trope?
That's an Eastern vampire myth, but not a Western one.
Yeah.
Where, like, he's OCD and has to count things on the
Yeah.
ground. But this one, it wasn't that.
No, they were alluding to the fact that Judas dropped silver onto the ground when he hung himself after killing Christ.
His last sunset on Earth.
His last sunset on Earth, and he fucking like wakes up again. Not really like they don't really describe like how it happened. It's not like they say like, "Oh, God cursed me," because if it was like if they had said God cursed me to walk the night for the rest of the life, like that would have been fine. But they don't say that. They're just like, my last sunset on Earth turned me into this.
There is Hebrew mythology that says if you're hung from a certain type of tree and it becomes sundown and you're left there overnight, you're cursed.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I had
It's
no
like an
idea.
olive tree or something. It comes from like Jewish mythology. They did not talk about that in the movie.
No, not at all. Again, if they had mentioned that
yeah.
at all, I would have been like, oh, okay. I mean, I wouldn't have been excited about it, but
No.
like,
But that proposes that fucking Vlad the Impaler was also Judas.
Yeah.
Here's another thing that it implies. It implies that Dracula is Jewish,
Yeah.
Yeah, and Armenian.
which is an Armenian, but
And he's so pale.
and he's played by he's played
He's
by
been out in the
Gerard
sunlight
Butler.
for 2,000
Gerard
years.
Butler.
Yeah, being out of the sunlight for 2,000 years is like it makes your skin go from a.
Well, that'd turn anybody white.
It turns it turns everybody white. Yeah, I guess. Oh, God,
That's ridiculous.
So bad. But yeah, he like winds up being Jews, and they say at the beginning of the Van Helsing says at the beginning of the movie that like you can't kill Dracula like you would kill a normal vampire. He's tried everything, right? Which means he's tried sunlight, which means he's tried like
Staking him.
He's
He's
right?
tried silver. He's tried beheading
I
him.
think he's lying.
But I think he must be because
He had him in that cage.
He's only caught him once. How many times can you try and kill him before he escapes into mist?
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is that like
He had to at least have tried sunlight.
The way-
or do you think he didn't try at all? Like,
I don't
he
think
got a
he-
taste of that blood, and he's just like,
he's like, I need that.
Bingo,
You know, I
bango.
believe that. See, that'd be something I would believe. But the thing is like Dracula eventually dies by being hung with wire off of a crucifix, like a big light up fucking electric crucifix, and then the sun comes up and burns him alive.
So it's what you call a reverse sunset.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. But the thing is, I mean, I wouldn't call it ever that. Honestly. But like,
That's how you kill a Dracula.
You hang them on a reverse sunset.
yeah, sure. Yeah, sure, makes total sense.
I'm surprised he didn't have to put a noose around his neck and tie a bunch of balloons to his feet to hang him upside down. To get a true reverse hanging
Here's
during
a
sunrise.
minor quip I had with this. Whenever they opened the
Oh wait,
turning
this
the cross.
Coffin.
impossibly hard to open casket puzzle box.
yeah, that they're trying so hard to figure it out this whole time. And
They even
all you
suggest
have to do-
blowing it up.
Yeah, all you
On
have
a
to
plane.
do is turn the little cross on it, right in the fucking center.
Like 45
Like
degrees.
45 degrees, and then
it-
it opens. I was like, why didn't they just make it to where you have to turn it upside down?
And then all the other little crosses snap upside down.
Yeah,
It's
that
a
would
good
have
visual.
That would have been a cool visual, but no, we don't get that. Absolutely
It's
not.
just a little.
Not with Dracula 2000.
And they have a gunfight on a plane, which is always a great
Which is-
idea.
And I love that
magical.
guy who's screaming at them, the pilot. He's like, "What are you fucking doing?"
So where do you think they were flying when they were going from London, passing over Louisiana? Where do you,
That's actually a really good question.
probably down to Venezuela, right?
Yeah,
Or
it must be
Argentina.
somewhere in South America
Well,
or
he did talk
or
about how he
in.
got his money through unlawful means.
Well, no, I think that was just a cover up to say no, it's vampires.
No, that's also Nazi
No, it's
gold.
Nazi gold.
It's also Nazi gold. That's true. You know, that's a good point.
Because he was dosing during World War II. He had the secret of immortality, and nobody got a hold of that
He
secret.
worked with the Nazis because they gave him more money to hunt down vampires.
Oh my god, that would be so
He
wild.
was looking for the spear of Christ, so just like Hitler, so he could finally kill Dracula.
Yeah.
Wait, is there? Hang on. Listen, I was raised Catholic, and I know a lot of dumb Jesus stories. Let me just ask you a real quick question. Is there a story where Christ has a fucking spear?
No, there is a story that the Vatican Secret Archives hold the spear that killed or punctured
Yes.
Christ, and the water came out.
Yes, the spear of
See,
Christ.
I do love the idea that
And
Jesus has a D&D monk with
Right?
a fucking spear.
It was blunted with a crucifix at the end. People are like,
It's
I don't
so
get it yet.
good. It's so stupid.
He has a weapon that's a crucifix, and they're just like, I don't get it yet.
This would be really funny.
What?
When I die.
I just don't get it. But no, the Nazis were looking for all those crazy relics.
Yeah,
that-
the Holy Grail.
And the
spear.
Pope at that time definitely helped them.
I mean, yeah, I believe it.
The spear, I've heard the spear on a couple of different things. I think
It's
it was
one of
on
the.
that-
It's I'm surprised they didn't make an Indiana Jones movie about it. It's how popular it was.
Yeah.
The Ark of the Covenant.
See, I've never
It was
heard of
in
it.
a,
No?
It was in the DC Legends of Tomorrow TV show.
Yeah.
One of
Okay.
the bad guys who was a powerful magic user who could hop dimensions.
Constantine?
No, it was a bad guy.
Oh,
Like the
okay.
Damien Dark or something.
Constantine
Oh,
has
sure.
a bunch of that shit though.
Or the Witch Boy.
Yeah,
What's his name? It doesn't matter.
He had this. He got the spear. He got that spear.
Oh.
And they
Van
gave
Helsing
him-
could have had the original
let
nails
him
and
rewrite the world or something. Gave
spears
him,
don't write things.
I don't know.
I mean, if you draw on them on the ground, they do. Or if you're just spear Zorro and you're fucking you should with a big C in the chest for Christ.
If Jesus was a D&D character, he probably would have been a monk.
I know. Well, I don't know. Would
The
you say
water
cleric?
walking.
I don't know. Cleric's not bad.
But
Paladin.
he didn't wear heavy armor.
Well,
You don't know that.
Clerics
Stories
don't-
change over time.
Hey, clerics do not wear heavy armor. Paladins do.
Clerics still wear heavy armor.
Clerics can wear they can wear chainmail
they
and
can wear
that's
both.
it. They can't wear heavy
Robes
armor.
mainly.
Nah.
Yeah.
They're the magicians of the holy world.
Yeah.
They-
Clerics? No.
Clerics can wear heavy
This
armor.
is some
No, they
new.
We're talking
cannot.
straight D&D rules.
They can wear
They
medium
can.
armor and that's it.
This is some new school shit you're bringing to the table. Roll a
See, he's
d20
talking about
and see if it lies.
He's talking about Pathfinder is what
No,
the
I'm
problem
talking
is.
about 5th edition.
No, anyway. I can get into this for like hours. I'm a DM.
Uda
I know
would
what
be
I'm
a monk
talking
for
about.
So am
Oh God.
We've all DM.
Hey, guess what? We're on a podcast. We're a bunch of nerds. Go figure.
Everyone pull out your dice. Whoever rolls highest is right.
Jesus.
Yeah. He dies. He absolves Mary of her vampirism, which he's given her. He's like,
Which is something he's never done.
I release you.
Yeah, there's no evidence in any like Dracula lore that he could just wave his hand and say you're no longer a vampire.
I restore
Why
your
would
soul.
he ever do that, though?
Well, the thing is like Mary's eyes turn white, and I think that's why there's fucking sequels to this movie.
Yeah.
Right? It's like she's like a reverse vampire
We
now.
get kind of a stinger at the end before
No,
the
I
credits.
read it a little bit. In the sequels, it's kind of like Doctor Who. He regenerates, so he changes his appearance because it's a different actor every time.
It's a different Dracula,
A different actor plays Dracula in all.
but
of the
he
sequels.
explodes at the end.
Does he ever become a redhead like he wanted? Is he a ginger finally?
Ugh.
This is my Dracula cave. It's bigger on the inside.
This is my companion Renfield.
I'm
Renfield!
Holy shit!
Master, when are we going to today?
Yeah, when are we going to?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm a Dracula, and I've got 2 hearts. This one is yours,
That's
but I
what
have
the
it
doctor
now.
stands for. Dracula.
Dracula who? Holy shit.
Time Lords are vampires.
So fucking wild. You know, listen, if Doctor Who was to like throw that at us at this point, I'd be like, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess. Man, I don't know.
Oh, we talk about that on the podcast all the time, how Doctor Who will get you, because it's always aliens. But you're 45 minutes into an episode and you're like, oh my god, what is it? Is it really vampires? No, it's aliens.
No, it's aliens. It's always aliens.
But they get you.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing is that like Doctor Who... Oh, God, we're getting on another thing, but
Oh no, we're not talking about Dracula 2000.
Oh no, yeah, I know. But like Doctor Who does that
Okay,
thing
so
where...
we're both kind of right. Sorry, D&D rules.
All right, well, let's hear.
Okay.
What is it?
So, just base-wise,
They can only
get
wear
up to
medium armor.
But there are 3 different of their like
Variants? Maybe.
what are they
Like
called?
the war clerics?
Subclasses?
Yeah, like war cleric, storm cleric. 3 of those can wear heavy armor.
All right, so what I'm hearing is that I was right inherently,
Yeah.
and yours is only correct, kind of.
Kind of.
Prestige level.
So
No, it's not
anyway,
prestige.
Subclasses?
Yeah.
so I still say that Jesus was a cleric. He's the first cleric of God.
Yeah.
I think he was more of an illusionist. Look, everybody, I'm walking on water.
He's a level 1 wizard.
I'm gonna turn
He
this
can
water
cast
into
minor
wine.
illusion and fucking prestidigitation.
I got him.
Oh my god.
Do you know who my dad is?
Yeah, let's fucking dunk on Christianity in the year 2019.
Well, that's something about these movies. You always have to come back to Christianity. And
Which
it's
is-
like, can we not just have a vampire movie that's... They had them all over the world. Myths of vampires.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Can we not have the Catholic version for once?
There's like a really I think one of my favorite versions of vampires is like I think it's Chinese or something like that. They're the ones who like they like have like the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yangtze?
Is that what it is?
The hopping one?
The one
Yeah!
that's split in
Yeah.
half at night.
Yeah.
It's a woman and her top half comes off of her bottom half and looks for food.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not even what I'm thinking of.
Oh, they're terrifying too.
Yeah.
Anyway, there are just like there's so many different versions of vampires all
No,
over the
explain
world.
yours. What was
Right?
it?
No, I think he what were they
Hopping
called?
ones.
Yeah, they have like a talisman on their head and they hop around because they're
Ooh.
stiff.
Okay.
Yeah, they've got like keep their like hands in their together and they like jump at you. They're in a couple of the Castlevania games. Hilariously enough,
Oh, that makes sense.
but oh man, you know I still am kind of upset that they didn't name him Simon Belmont.
Not many good deaths.
Not many good.
No.
Not much good
No.
in this one.
Hyde
Yeah.
gets shot. The first bolt travels through his body, and then the next 3 stick around his heart.
Yeah. Those ones kill him though.
Ooh, how'd you like that beheading in the garage where he stabs the guy in the
Spins
stomach,
around.
falls down, stands up, turns around like a goddamn Power Ranger when he's gonna explode.
That's
The guy
right.
gets up and he's like, I knew this was gonna happen. Totally dagger 360 no scopes him, cuts his head off.
He does it like 2 or 3 times in this movie where he just like.
Once
and
with a
he's
knife, once with a gun, yeah.
And he's the only one who does it. Like everyone else just like just fights people.
Never mess with an antiques dealer.
Oh my god, what a fucking line.
Van Helsing gets killed off screen.
Yeah.
That's true, which is
That's
kind of a
a
bummer
weird
because he's
death.
like he's one of the main characters in the first half of the movie. Right? Like, it's weird that they don't give him the dignity of, like, actually being killed.
They find him under a bed soaked in blood.
Yeah, that's
He's been stabbed with a bedpost?
like, through the bed, into, like, under the bed, like...
Was he hiding?
They definitely killed him and then arranged it that
Right,
way.
it has to
It
have
had
been
to
that way,
have
right?
been.
It's
He
like,
wouldn't hide from vampires under the bed.
No,
the
well,
thing-
he might have. He was
He
really bad at his
foolhardily
job.
runs at them with terrible antique weapons.
yes. Well, and the thing is like, the bedpost is, like, soaked with blood all the way through, right? Like, on top, it's dripping with blood, and it's not even, like, in him or anything. There's an entire bed between him and the top of the
And
bedpost.
later, she mentions we sucked him dry,
Yeah.
And he's still bleeding!
which makes me think
And
they
they
sucked
killed
him dry
They sucked
before
him
killing
off.
him.
Killed
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, that's what they did. They just sucked him off.
Ah, Van Helsing.
What was that blonde? And she can only speak in sexual innuendo.
Lucy?
No,
the newscaster.
The newscaster, yeah.
Wow.
It's they're just all it's all bad, right? And the thing is that like they tried really hard to like play on these tropes of like the original story, right?
Right, with the
Lucy,
brides.
like Lucy is the name of like the woman that Dracula first like drains in the original Dracula.
They were trying to go Buffy a lot in this movie because you got Nathan Fillion, who never reprises his role and comes back and fights Dracula like you're gonna think.
No, yeah,
but
he's-
they're also having like floaty bed sex with Dracula.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
floaty bed sex, and then there's like the three brides of Dracula.
But it's Lucy, you're right. That's
and it's
the first
Lucy
one he seduces.
who's the first one who he seduces in the book. There's just like a lot of allusions to the original Dracula book, and then they were like, "Fuck it, let's make it about a Christian thing."
But it's also really weird and self-aware of how goofy it's being.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of like looks directly into the camera.
This isn't The Office.
Yeah,
It's Dracula. 2000. Simon finds Mary. I was gonna say Mia for a second, but Mary. in the strangest way
you're thinking
possible.
of the actual
The book.
character.
He teleports
Mina.
into the Virgin store.
Yeah,
That's true. He just shows up there.
well, I'm talking about after Mary's not there. He's like, Lucy's like, there was a man in here looking, or there was a man in here. That's all
Yeah.
she says. Like,
Yeah, like again, coming back to the fact that this is a music store full of nothing but hot women.
and so Dracula does get his hands on Mary, and Simon finds them in the strangest way possible. He follows a bunch of glowing crucifixes. We know Dracula hates everything that has to do with Christianity. Why does he hide in a room full of neon crucifixes?
He didn't find. Isn't that where he found the girls?
He finds the brides there.
They're
but I
also
still
there.
feel like it's still like
I don't
counts.
think he was there.
Yeah, I don't think he was there. I think it was
And
just the brides.
We know
Okay.
that like the religious stuff doesn't actually affect vampires.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
him.
just Dracula.
And he just doesn't
also,
like it.
Because the
he also
other
fucking-
vampires are like, I don't give a fuck about that cross.
before that happened.
Bible
That's-
pages.
that's true.
Can we get
Wait.
to the Bible?
Yeah, no,
my
the
God.
Bible pages. No. We have to talk about
There's
the
an
Bible
attack
pages.
book in this.
They're in a library researching Dracula. Weird, but like.
And as you mentioned, Josh, Van Helsing spent 280 years researching Dracula, and they're going to get these answers in a,
in like
local town
Yeah,
library.
in a New Orleans local library.
Dracula bad.
Right, yeah, very bad. And like he's trying to defend her with the Bible, right? By him just showing the Bible
I
to
wouldn't
Dracula.
even say trying. I
Dracula
said he
calls
is.
it propaganda.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he opens the book and gets some pages on it.
Yeah,
Books fire out.
Well, the thing is that like Simon rips this book open, and the pages fly at Dracula like they're bullets, right? And they
into fire.
explode into
Oh.
fire. Like
What what the fuck kind of magic was that?
Also, the thing is like before this happens, Dracula's just like, you think you can defend her with a Bible? And I would say, yeah.
Pretty
if
well.
they burn on contact, then yes.
If a Bible actively attacks
Well, see, I don't
Dracula,
think that he knew that was gonna happen.
I don't think anybody did.
He was just like, whoa, what was that?
What is that going to do? Fly pages out at me?
I feel like the characters in this movie don't even understand like the ramifications of things in this movie.
I think the
They
writers
didn't read the
understand.
script, and the special effects guy was like, just point the book at him. You'll see what happens.
Just open it up when he also like tears it in half almost,
Yes.
which like he tears a Bible in half.
Well, I mean, we did
That's
see
how you
him
unleash
cut
its
off a guy's
power.
head in one stroke.
That is true. All of the that's the other thing.
And
Simon
garden
is
shears.
and
Simon's a
Garden-
vampire the whole time.
yeah. Simon's a vampire the whole time.
He's been secretly dosing.
He's got abnormal strength.
Yeah, 'cause
I
he's
would
been
not
working
be
with the
surprised.
dude.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if that was something that like they didn't show us, I would not be surprised because like he like Josh said, he like cuts the girl's head off with the like
The shears.
garden shears.
That was
right.
ridiculous.
He tears a book in
He
half.
spins around and cuts a guy's head off with a knife.
Yeah, with no momentum,
One
just
arm.
spins and like one arm cuts a dude's head off.
He gets tackled by Mary while holding an ancient pistol, is able to spin completely around and aim perfectly for the heart.
Yeah, like I think really what it is Simon is Jesus.
Simon's a badass in this. Yeah, I think he's been secretly dosing.
Yeah,
think he's-
I'm into this theory, like that.
That's why he's like, I gotta
he found those leeches.
get in good with Mary, because she's the next source. Like, of blood. She's got the Dracula in her. I gotta kill this Dracula.
Do you think that if like nobody had like if those techno thieves hadn't shown up, that he would have just like eventually killed Dracula, like bleeding him dry? Or
No.
was it like an endless supply?
Endless supply, I think Van Helsing would have eventually died. And he wouldn't have anyone to carry on his mantle, and it would have gone forgotten.
Yeah,
and that's a fun thing. Like,
And then we get Dracula 3000,
Yeah.
where like in the year 3000,
you're destroying this old mansion.
when
or something.
London is destroyed in World War VII.
Yeah, Dracula pops out like, this is way weirder.
This is not what I planned for at all.
That's the one where he's on the spaceship. We gotta watch that one.
And then
to
there's
find
like,
out.
and then there's 500 people that he could take over because Lucy's gone on to populate more people.
Mary.
Mary, sure, whatever.
You can have
like
great
Mary.
granddaughter wives at that point.
Yeah.
God, and it is weird. It's like, you're of my blood, but I'm going to marry you. It's very Alabama, you know?
Yeah, and it's also disturbing how similar Gerard Butler and Mary look.
Yeah, they do look like cousins.
Or brother, sister, father, daughter, like very
look
close.
very similar.
Very
Yeah.
close. Yeah, Dracula dies. We get this little stinger thing where Mary sees him hanging as Judas, and it's like, oh my god, it was all in his head as he was being hung.
That's true. Yeah, it does, like, that's how it ends, right? With, like, Judas still hanging in the tree, and it does give the impression that it's, like, this weird dream sequence as Judas's brain, like, loses the last bits of oxygen, right? Like,
Last minute of life, he lived 2,000 years.
As Dracula.
As Dracula!
That's true for everyone, not just Judas.
Oh my god, yeah.
We all have that to look forward to.
I can't wait to die and live for 2,000 years as Dracula. That sounds fucking rad.
You will be hunted by an arch nemesis in the Victorian era of your 2,000 years. This was weird.
This is one of those movies that is so bad that it borders on good because it's bad.
We've had a couple on this podcast.
You know?
I was mistaken. I have not seen this all the way through. I was getting it confused with John Carpenter's Vampires, which was around the same time, like maybe even earlier.
Well, and see, like
99.
I realized that I hadn't seen the first scene of this movie. Like, I came in when they were trying to open up the coffin.
Oh, so you miss all the technological...
So I missed the first time I watched.
Glass ball to the face.
Yeah, I missed the fucking glass ball to the face and the eyeball and it was very weird. Which is also why when they drain Marcus or not Marcus, whoever it is, on the plane and the eyeball rolls across the
Yeah, that
ground,
would make
I
more
was
sense.
just like, what the hell is going on?
Did he just lose an eye?
Did he lose an eye? What's going on? Yeah.
So when did you first see this?
I saw this 2 months ago. I was hanging out with my dad over like a Christmas thing, right? And we started watching this, and like we weren't doing anything, and immediately my dad and I were just both like, what is happening? Like, I need to use the restroom. Pause the fucking TV. I cannot miss a minute of this.
You got seduced by Dracula
I
2000.
did. It was fucking wild. Because, like, again, like, how can you see any of this movie and go, like, what? I must know more.
Minute to minute, it makes no continuity sense.
Oh, absolutely not.
Good one to have at a party or not?
I would say
think-
it's barely a movie.
What about a party movie?
I think it's a great party movie, but the thing is like, it's an hour and a half long. It's not long enough for a party.
I don't know if
you gotta line it up with some other things.
I don't know if the scenes
no,
are interesting.
I agree.
enough.
See, I think it's one of those movies that you bring to like a B movie like group.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Or like
If you were actually watching it, yeah, but if like something just on in the background.
I think this is a good situation to watch this movie in, where it's just like, let's all watch this bad movie together.
Yeah.
Right? Because then because I think that makes this movie like way more interesting when you're able to like look at it and scrutinize it. Yeah.
It was an experience. I feel like we all broke into Dracula's lair and were unsuccessful.
I loved it when they were on the plane too, and the Hyde is trying to open up this thing.
Shade.
Yeah, Hyde Shade is trying to open up this coffin, and he screams multiple times while
They
he
notice
gets
the third
attacked
one.
by the leech.
He also cuts himself on a crowbar.
He gets cuts himself, and he's just screaming
Leech
the
goes
whole
straight
time.
to the eye.
Nothing. They don't hear it at all. The
Yeah.
other people on the plane. But whenever Dracula gets out and attacks him and he screams, then
They're like, we gotta check it out.
And then they only send one person when 4 of them are just lazily sitting around.
hanging.
2 of them are getting to fucking if you don't know this.
That's true. They are getting to
That's
fucking,
why they
true.
send one guy. They're
You
like,
go check it out and stay back there because we gon' fuck in
go
here.
help him.
Yeah.
Was that a little bit of turbulence? The captain's up front.
Yeah.
There was no Renfield in this movie.
I was sure the captain, when they focused on him, when everybody else on the plane was dead,
He
was
did have
going
like
to be the Renfield.
He did have the crazy looking eyes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I
And
can
yet-
imagine him eating bugs by the end of this.
Man, you know, the thing is like, I would not be surprised if that was part of the original cut of this movie.
If we had a Renfield character, we need one. We have no close association other than, like, the brides of Dracula.
Yeah. Well, and they're not even the original Brides of Dracula.
Right.
They're just the new ones that he was just like, hey, you're blonde.
You're redhead, you're brunette, one of each.
Yeah.
That's the only type
there
of
were two
women there are.
There were 2 blondes and one. There was 2
Oh.
blondes and 1 brunette who had her hair like bleached.
Okay, so he's got a type.
Yeah, it's clearly blonde. Except for Mary, who is a short-haired brunette.
Like him.
Like him. That's true.
Yeah. And Lucy, he falls for her, she's a blonde.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, she was one of the brides.
Right? Would you recommend it?
To everyone. Always. It's not a good movie. I just want everyone to know about
It's
it.
not often our guest who recommends a movie to us winds up not recommending it at the end of the episode.
You know, that's fair. Yeah, that's
I think
fair.
it did happen last time with the Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh yeah, she did say she didn't want to watch it.
Yeah.
But she wouldn't recommend. Well, not didn't want to watch it, but
Wouldn't recommend it.
Wouldn't recommend
That was our
it.
guest Kendra. If you want to go down a black hole of Dracula movies in specific, start with this one.
No, don't start with this one.
There's better ones.
Yeah.
Why not set the bar low immediately?
Like,
Yeah,
yes.
start with this one. You saying they'll give up?
wouldn't
Someone starts a
recommend this.
vampireless movie and gives up on the
I mean, if
first
I didn't
one.
know anything about Dracula and I had no interest in vampires and you were like, oh, we're going to start with this movie and I'll show you more if you're interested, I would not be interested. I will admit that.
That's who Dracula is?
I wouldn't recommend this unless you're in this kind of setting. Like, if you're watching it to listen to this, then sure. But, like, just as, like, a movie to watch?
Yeah.
No.
Everyone who is listening to this, your homework is you have to watch the movie because once you watch it, re-listen to this and you will understand everything that we say, even the weird D&D tangents.
My hope is that they saw the name of the episode, didn't play it till they watched the movie.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Because if they've double listened to the
Have you ever
episode at this
seen-
point,
If you like this, have you ever seen Wishmaster?
I have not.
anything by Clive Barker.
So Wishmaster is a horror movie where the main bad guy is a genie.
Love it. That's so good.
It's
If you-
there's literally in the second one. There's literally a man who fucks himself.
Fantastic. Just love it so much.
To end on a good note, if you want to see a good classic monster movie, Late Phases.
Yes, Late Phases is a good werewolf movie.
It's about a dude, ex-cop who's blind and moves into a retirement community full of elderly werewolves.
Huh.
And it's a good movie.
It's a good
It's
one.
new, it's recent.
I'll have to look into that.
What's your favorite vampire movie?
I'm not going to say, because I want to put it on the list and I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
Does that give it away which one it is? Like,
No.
okay, I'll tell you later. I really like Blade 2. That's a fun one. It's more of an action one. When I was a kid, I loved Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Keanu Reeves one. I had all the comics. I dug it. I was into vampire lore.
I have to say, like, I love vampires conceptually, but I've never seen a vampire movie that I was just like, yes, this is a good vampire movie that I want to watch again. You know what I mean? I feel like when you, I think that vampires are really incredible monsters and like creatures in like literature, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when you can read about it, you can sort of like get this weird mysterious vibe from them, and you can sort of like piece. But like when you're watching it, it's like, oh, you're just a weirdo who likes to like, you know, give like real bad hickeys.
Have you seen the Flight of the Conchords vampire movie?
Oh,
Yes.
What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes.
That is my favorite vampire movie ever.
That is such a good vampire
It's, you know,
movie.
here's the thing. It might be my favorite movie ever. You asked me that the other night at the bar what my favorite movie is, and I'm going to tell you right now,
Yeah.
after watching Dracula 2000, my favorite movie in the world is What We Do in the Shadows.
Because it's such a better representation.
Because the thing is it's completely comedy, and it is a way better vampire movie than this.
Yeah. Or like Lost
Josh, would
Boys.
you recommend this movie?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I would. If you want to watch a bad movie, watch a bad movie. I think that's the problem. Is that it's not bad enough. It's just nothing.
You wanted more bad.
I mean, you're talking vampires. I think the only vampire movie I've seen besides this was the second or third Twilight movie.
Oh,
And it was
wow.
better than this.
You jumped
So-
into the middle of a series
Right?
of movies?
Dracula 2000, not a better love
I've
story than
only
Twilight.
seen the third Twilight movie.
I don't. Not knowing anything about this, I would have guessed this was in the middle of a series.
Yeah.
Dracula 2000.
Honestly, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. You know,
No,
they're
it's
really...
the beginning of a series. There's Dracula 2 and Dracula 3.
So you like the Twilight more than this?
Yeah, the second or third one.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah.
I haven't
I
seen any
enjoyed
of
the
them, if I'm
Twilight
being
movies
honest.
more than I enjoyed
Oh
watching
no,
this.
This was more enjoyable than Twilight to me. For
I
sure.
mean, I wouldn't want to watch either
You want
of
to
them
bet? Have you
again.
seen the second or third Twilight movie?
Oh, yeah.
I can put it on the list.
Josh
I don't know
clearly
if
thinks
you
that they are
can.
pretty quality movies.
I wouldn't ever want to watch any of them.
Compared to
either.
this, yeah.
He has a secret Stephanie Myers tattoo somewhere on his body.
He's got like the apple or whatever it
It
is.
says Team Edward.
He's real into
Team Dracula 2000.
Team Dracula 2000.
I saw a really fucking good back when the Team Edward and Team Jacob, whatever the hell, like shit was going on. Back when we were in middle school or like early high school or whatever. I do remember I had a friend who had a T-shirt that just said Team Belmont. And I was just like, yeah.
That is a better movie than this movie. That T-shirt.
Yeah, that T-shirt is a better movie than this. Yeah, for sure.
Team Dracula 2000. I like it. Hashtag we'll bring it back.
So bad.
All like skinny, pale Gerard Butler pictures before he became Leonidas.
I mean, like skinny
This
Gerard
was-
Butler could have been in any of the Twilight movies, and
I
I
wouldn't
would
have
not.
noticed.
I would not have batted an eye.
What? Okay, we gotta look this up before we wrap it up. What movies was Gerard Butler in around this time or before?
I think he was in Phantom of the Opera like around this time, and I want to say just after.
That was 2004.
So just after.
Yeah. So he was still pretty tiny. Can he sing? He can't.
He
sing.
can.
Can
He
he?
can sing,
He
yeah.
can.
Okay.
I bet
So
you
can
he
Hugh
sing.
Jackman too. Like there's a lot of like weird like buff actor dudes who are actually
Well,
really incredible
Hugh Jackman
singers.
He was a Broadway
was
star,
a
right?
Broadway star when he got discovered.
I know, which is wild.
I don't know what Gerard Butler was. Probably like a Scottish soap opera star.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
Scottish soap
Oh,
opera.
I've been in a coma
Oh my
for
god,
7
I want to
months.
see a Scottish soap opera.
Are you cheating on me, Agatha?
The only good thing, the only thing that I really love about Gerard Butler is an anecdote I have from high school. I was philosophy class, and somebody was trying to figure out what the name of Xerxes was, the leader of the 300. And she was like, oh, the guy who was leading the 300, what was his name? And I just immediately said Gerard Butler.
It makes sense.
Because it was such a pervasive thing when I was in, I don't know, late high school.
It was everything.
It was everything. Every bro dude had seen it and loved it and wanted you to see it too.
He didn't get cast because he was buff in this. He got cast because he was
he was
European
pretty
and handsome.
Honestly,
yeah.
the thing is the thing that people don't remember about Gerard Butler is he is a pretty looking dude.
And
yeah, it looks like he was in mostly rom-coms.
I was gonna say, I wonder if he would have been not Hugh Jackman, but what's the other British guy who was really popular during that time? Notting Hill and wasn't it another Hugh Grant?
Yeah, Hugh Grant is a person for sure.
I would have. I mean, if he didn't buff up, he probably wouldn't have got action roles later. Gerard Butler. Now he's saving the president every other week. London's falling all over him.
London is falling all on top of him.
Hugh Grant is who you're thinking of.
Yeah, the other British actor who never really busted out into anything other than rom-coms.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's about all we can say.
Well, we've been talking about Dracula
Is this the
2000.
longest recording we've done?
We've been talking about Dracula 2000 for 80 straight minutes.
Longer than the movie, almost.
Oh my god, it's about
almost as long as the movie.
That's all right.
Yeah.
The legend has to survive somehow.
Somehow, yeah.
Yeah, you said there's Dracula
2,
2000, 2002? No.
It's just called Dracula 2.
And Dracula 3000.
And Dracula 3.
1000.
No.
Oh, well, there's that one too. There's
Dracula
the space
3000
one.
is unrelated.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic.
So many Dracula movies to watch.
All right.
Dracula
Yeah.
3000.
If you want to stay tuned, we might put them on the list.
Yeah,
I'm
just
gonna
watch.
definitely watch
just
Dracula
watch a bunch.
3000.
Y'all should just do that for around October. Just watch a bunch of Dracula movies.
Dractober.
Dractobula. Oh my god, Dractobula. Anyway, Jack Toblerone. That's fine.
You can find us on YouTube under the heading FapCheck, the channel. We're also at FapCheck on gmail.com for any recommendations, questions, concerns, hate mail, anything you want to send us.
Specifically hate mail after this movie.
You can find our other podcast, Amazeballs, on the iTunes podcast store. And anything else? Anybody want to plug anything before we sign out?
I mean, I don't really. I don't have anything to plug other than my general social media. Why though?
Get some tasty memes on there.
I don't. I just post selfies, and actually, hilariously enough, I am actually reading Dracula, and that's all I've been tweeting about lately.
There you go. It's
so
relevant.
if you really want to follow me and watch me rant and rave about the stupidity of some of this old romantic book, I'm at Lucafaro. It's Lukifaro
On Twitter.
On Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and whatever. That's fine. I'm there under that tag.
All that shit.
All the stuff.
Well, until next time, I'm Austin.
I'm Josh.
I'm Justin.
I'm Luke.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah, enjoyed it. Bye.
Bye.